Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the DreamHack Last Chance Qualifiers. These are the Asian Qualifiers. This is the qualifying match. It's a best of 5 between two, very well-known players. Both of them looking to try and go on to that last chance event, which will, of course, be giving EPT points and allowing people to potentially qualify for Katowice if they haven't already, making sure they don't have to play through a lot of games to get there, as we do have in the bottom left the Protoss player who, he is the best, but hasn't been getting the best results as of lately from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. It is Zest. And in the top right, arguably getting much better results, and also currently the best Terran in the world, potentially the best Terran of all time. From Team NV, it's Maru. I actually don't even know if it's potentially anymore. I think Maru is just the best Terran of all time. I think the only real argument is, well, is Maru the greatest player when you're looking at, other players such as Rogue, Cyril, Raynor. And that's where you get into more of the discussion. But definitely the best Terran. Especially with recent results, with how many events he's started winning. Of course, wasn't able to make a deep run in TSL 8. But did get to the finals of the GSL Super Tournament, where he did fall to Rogue, which is, of course, perfectly understandable, because Rogue is, I think is Maru's biggest nemesis on Aligalac. I think he is listed as Maru's biggest nemesis. They trade series the most, and Rogue has handed him, I think, the most losses, especially in best of 7s, especially recently. I think Rogue, that was really the first time that he was able to finally get the better hand of Maru after a while. There was their GSL finals. That was, of course, I think it was the 4-0 or 4-1. And after that, almost every online best of 7 that they played, Maru won. 4-2 for the most part. As we do have some interesting stuff going on here in the early game. You have, of course, this Reaper headed across the map with the bunker. Is going to be trying to get that up. I think the SCV is going to go down, though. So it should just be a cancel. Reaper will hop on into the main. Has already gotten a probe kill. Might even be able to get a second. There we go. Shift clicks it. And hey, 2 probe kills for your early Reaper is pretty darn worth it as the Terran. You're not going to complain all too much, especially if you get out with the Reaper. Oh, Maru! Oh, he jukes and he jives and he's out. 2 kills. Hops away. But we did see in the early game, Maru did go for a kind of pseudo, a hidden barracks right here at kind of where the third base is usually going to be placed. Was just trying to throw off Zest if Zest did go for a probe scout. Now, we didn't actually see that happen. Zest has just been playing this completely standard so far. You had Gateway into Cybercore, into Stargate after the Nexus, and now adding on that Twilight Council. It's going to be Oracle production, as Zest, man, in every matchup, loves his Stargates. And Zest is a player who I think did go Stargate more often in TVP, even before the TVZ meta came around, where it was just, oh, Stargate first, or double Stargate. Zest did open Stargate a fair bit, but was always a bit more of the Blink Stalkers and the charge lots. And it's been a while since I've seen Zest PvT, actually. I've been casting recently, especially a lot of TVZ, a lot of ZVP. Been casting a whole lot of Zerg, not as much Protoss, which versus Terran, which is honestly one of my favorite matchups to watch. It's definitely one of the most explosive. These, you always see those PvT games where it all comes down to that one engagement. And those are fun. So I'm excited that I get to do this because, of course, these are two great players. Zest, for a while, Zest was looking like he was the best the best Protoss in the world. There we go. Let's not mix up that R syllable. It was looking like he was the best Protoss in the world, especially getting to the GSL finals. And unfortunately, after that GSL finals loss to Cure, it's kind of been, I would say, not doing as well. Definitely hasn't been getting as many good results. hasn't had as many deep runs, whereas before it really was a thing of, well, Zest is always going to do well in tournaments, and Zest is always going to be in those top 8s and top 4s. And not so much now. You know, Trap still, I think, has that mantle. Trap still has the consistency, as he has for the past 1.5 to 2 years. I mean, and so, you know, of course, I really do hope that Zest does get, you know, I would say back into that form come Katowice. I mean, that was when Zest got into, I mean, I think it was last Katowice that he got into his, you know, the form where he, you know, beat Serral, you know, when he made, where he pretty much made the Glaved Adepts build, you know. And so I'd love to see that. Now we do have him going for something a little bit cheeky here. If you are looking at it, it is Blink Stalker. It's going to be heading across the map. Of course, this should just be 4 gate, I believe. Okay, no, 3 gate. So it's not committed pressure. It is just going to be using this Oracle for vision and then Blink Stalkers from 3 gateways, trying to apply a little bit of light pressure to Maru, who should be pretty prepared for this, honestly. Already has a tank in the main, second one popping, and the Marines. Maru right now, I mean, pretty well set up to defend this. There is a bit of a spot where the tanks can't reach it, so Zest will take advantage of that and actually get quite a bit of damage here. Already gets a refinery, 4 SCVs going down. As the Protoss, you know, this is decent damage. You're going to get full scouting information as well. You know that the Terran is 2 racks right now. You know that it's factory, starport, tank production, and that it's been a completely safe opening from Maru. Maru's opening in this game is not meant to, you know, kill your opponent super fast. It's meant to defend extremely well. Out of the factory, it was Widowmine first, into Tech Lab, into tank. From the starport, it was Viking first, into a medevac for the Widowmine drop, and then the reactor. So it's just been Maru being very, very safe and covering all of his bases. And so Zest really not getting a lot done in this early game. I mean, that was the first, I would say, real damage he got done. 10 probes did go down. Where did that happen? I must have completely missed something. Because there was, oh, it was the second Widowmine shot. I completely forgot that, I think Maru, he unburrowed one of the Widowmines that didn't go off. And I must have reburrowed it and gotten like 6 probe kills or so with that, while Zest was moving across the map. But we do have a Dark Templar Shrine on the way. So Zest not going to be taking it easy. He's not going to be letting up on the pressure. He's using the Blink Stalkers to, of course, keep vision, to know if Maru moves out at all. And behind this, I mean, look at the vision of Zest, actually. This is pretty insane. The spread of units that he has to just know where things are, especially when you're considering the fact that Zest right now is on 60 workers, is taking a 4th base, and still has complete knowledge of absolutely everything that's going on in Maru's main. Despite the fact that Maru is up 33 army supply, there's not really much that he can do with it right now because he has no idea what is going, or what's going on across the map. I mean, right now for Maru, this, you know, he scans that's the first information he's gotten since that Widowmine drop, is that scan of the 3rd and knowing now that it's fully saturated. And that will prompt him to pull the trigger here on a push out. You have the 3rd CC finished. That will be floating out to location fairly shortly. Maru decides this is time to go. Does he have any missile turrets in the main or natural? That is, I mean, the answer to that is no. And look at, oh, Zest is being so good here. I mean, the real threat, of course, is this main push, but look at that minimap. 2 Dark Templars heading on in. The Adept being used just to distract the Blink Stalkers, trying to slow this down. So what does Zest have at home? Well, does he have charge finished up? He does have charge, but oh, so much damage already from these DTs. Getting so many SCVs. I don't think a scan is ready because there's a scan used at the front. So Maru needs to make it work here with this push. Immediately shield battery overcharge is popped. Those Zealots, they need to be used to try and fight here. They do have to be pulled back. Ground armor not done yet. Shield battery is focused down. Maru just looking for the death push. Zest, did you focus too much on getting up your tech? Do you have anything left to try and fight this? Well, now Zealot's coming through. A massive warp in on top of the bio. The Raven will pop down the auto turrets. That's going to keep the Stalkers busy. All the Zealots are gone. It's 15 workers down at home, but doesn't matter. Maru looking for the death push. He says, I don't care for your tricks and trickery. Loki, you will not fool me today, and I will in fact just push this stim to win. And I don't think there's much that Zest can do. Oh, the warping gets canceled. Needs to try and get this other one. I mean, all this bio is so low. If he could just get the stim or the charge on top of it, maybe he can make it work, but there's more units coming across the map. Even then, he's not able to clean up this small group of bio. You have more coming across the map. The tanks are being moved forward. 15 probes going down. DT's warped in, but there's the scan, the immediate morph into an Archon. Zest fighting for his life right now, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough. The medevacs, 3 of them still have enough energy to heal up. Oh, a good pullback from the Widowmine shot, and I don't think there's enough left here for Zest. The Archon is gone. It's just the Stalkers, and they should go down to the Stim. And Zest, you got too greedy. You got too greedy. You knew it was a 2-base Terran. You knew he was going to be pushing out eventually. And still, he went up to the 4th base. He went for the tech. I mean, he's starting to trade well, but again, 51 army supply to 10. Tank pickups come through. Maru. The death push is enough. Another scan goes down. GG is called. Maru takes game 1. And we're on to Curious Minds for map number 2. You know, I don't think I introduced myself at the start of this series. I'm TitanOnFire, if you didn't know. Hi, how you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. I hope it's going well. Hope you're just having a grand old time and enjoying some StarCraft 2 content between these two awesome players. Ladies and gentlemen, in the top left from DPG, it is Zest. And in the bottom right, Stim to win, baby! It's Maru. I mean, it was a really intense exchange there, but in the end, Zest got too greedy. I said it at the end of that game. When you know the Terran is on 2 bases, sure, you know that 3rd CC is going to be there, but you've seen how much army there is. And still, Zest decides, all right, I'm going to go for a 4th base and a Dark Templar Shrine. He uses up so much money just on his economy and on that tech that he doesn't have the additional gateways that he needs, or the additional tech units that he needs to really hold the push, and it means that Maru can just push that to a victory. And man, I'm so happy. I love TVP. It's been so long. I have been on like a month-long streak of casting Zerg, and man, I missed this. Man, I missed it. Ooh, Zest. Please tell me this is a proxy. I mean, it's probably not. I would love it if it was, but you do see that forward wall for Zest here at the ramp, so it's not gonna be a proxy. This will just be used to harass if there is an SCV that comes down to build the CC on location. That's not gonna be for very long though. So Zest should already know. Oh no, what happened there? Zest should already know, okay, this is a 2-gas opener. This is the exact same thing that Maru did in game number 1. Why are there just explosions happening? Are those the sweeper bots? Oh no, oh, SCV solo. Han Solo. But yeah, sees that of course it's a double gas opening, so it's the same opening for Maru as we got last game. We'll see if it's the exact same kind of options for harassment as we got in that last game. I'd have to imagine it's going to be, because for Terran, if you want to be safe, this is the best opening that you can do. It is possible to do it with 1 gas. It's just not quite as efficient. With the double gas opening, you're still gonna get out a really decently timed 2 Widowmine drop while also taking your expansion, and you'll get into Vikings. For Oracles, you'll get into your tanks at a much faster rate than you would otherwise, and it's very, very good for defending. Now Zest is making a bit of an adaptation here. He's actually pushing with the Stalker and the Zealot, which means at home it should just be that Adept, but that's also moving across the map. So Zest is just kind of calling that Maru doesn't have a lot at home, and he's absolutely correct with the first Reaper going across, with the barracks having to float back. Because Maru again went for that kind of tricky hidden barracks to try and throw Zest off. You can push across the map absolutely here with these units, and now I think you do probably just tank this with the Zealot. Zest decides he doesn't really want to risk that, knows that of course you have the SCV repair and Marines coming out with that reactor finish. This Reaper is still being annoying, hasn't actually gotten any probe kills because you have the shield battery in the main, but does scout out. Hey, it's an upgrade coming off that Twilight Council. It is Blink. It's really usually not going to be Glaives, and a charge lot all in, while that's not beyond, you know, something that Zest would do, you're not expecting that to happen here in this game, especially after Zest seeing how defensive the opening is going to be for Maru. Going for something like a charge lot all in is just kind of a needless risk. They do have the 2 Widowmines coming out now. This also could be 4 Marines also loaded up with it, which would be interesting to see. But I think it should just be the 2 Widowmines. Yep, there we go, floating across. And Maru will actually be swapping over the Tech Lab onto the starport, so it's not going to be immediately into a Raven or into a Viking, because of course he didn't scout that it was going to be a Stargate, so instead starts up a Raven. And I love the Raven in TVP. We've seen a lot of Terrans use it very, very well. Of course, the utility of the auto turrets is so useful. Also, just having interference matrices for any of the units that want to try and, you know, death push you down for Colossus, Disruptors, Immortals. Such a useful spell. So I love Maru getting this unit. Now we are going to see a bit of a attempted double prong crash. Reaper goes in to try and draw Zest screen over the blink forward though, and the pull actually on the probe. Super good so far from Zest. Splits away the workers, and this time does not take as much damage. I know I missed it in the last game, and I went back and I do think it was the Widow Mine that got that much damage done while Zest was trying to push with the Blink Stalkers. This game does not let that happen. Gets rid of the, oh, sorry, I just hit my desk. Gets rid of the Widow Mines. Doesn't even take altogether that much damage. Only 4 probes lost so far. All in all, not a bad opening here for Zest. Would of course love to get that, or would have loved to have gotten the medevac, but is again just going to be poking with these Stalkers. I believe he's currently only working off 2 gates this time. Yeah. Oh, almost gets a 3rd SCV. Blink Micro is very, very good. But only working off 2 gates, so even less committed than last game, and is instead getting up into the Robotics Bay. So we're most likely going to be looking at Colossus production. I also wouldn't mind seeing... I wouldn't mind seeing something like Disruptors, or early Disruptors from Zest. Of course, the risk of going a unit like Disruptors is it's very reliant on your opponent not splitting. The Disruptor is a unit that can punish if your opponent is distracted. They can punish your opponent if they're not on top of their micro. But if they are, after you use those Disruptor balls, it is just a lot of dead supply that you have tied up. It's 3 supply per Disruptor. If you don't really get good connections and you have, you know, 4 Disruptors, that's 12 supply that's now just kind of useless until they get that spell back, and that's of course the risk that you run. So we are going to be seeing the Colossus. This is just standard Protoss play with the 3rd base. Zest doing everything that you do. Maru wants to look for a push out here. Does have 3 tanks already finished. Has the Raven. Actually hasn't started up even a 3rd CC. This is 3 racks pressure coming out right now from Maru. Right around 7 minutes, so this is a pretty potent timing. Should have stim, combat shields, and +1 all finishing up, and there's a really cool variation of another build that you'll see where if you want to open up with just a standard Widow Mine drop, 3 Widow Mine drop, you'll do a very, very similar build, but instead you'll go into Widow Mines as a follow-up. This time it's just the 3 tanks instead of going for something like 4 Widow Mines. The early Raven means, of course, that you're cutting medevacs, but it's a very, very potent push as you now have an interference matrix for this Colossus, which means that if Zest actually decides to commit to this fight, Maru can immediately eliminate that damage and actually should have enough energy here for a second, so even with another Colossus coming out, it's not going to matter. You're now going to have Widow Mines join in, of course, to help if Charge Lots try and commit on in. You have 3 tanks. You can already one-shot a Stalker. You don't need any more than this. Really, you're reaching maximum efficiency in this push from Maru once again. He's just looking for a push. He's saying, listen, I'm just going to push you down. Interference matrices go off. The Colossus are completely useless, and the stim stutter step forward. GG, Maru hits again. The timing attacks, man. All right. Glittering Ashes. I don't think I've actually seen a TVP on this map. This is exciting. I mean, I know it's just been... I know it has just been this man in the top right, hitting timing attacks perfectly and ending the games. But I'm still loving it. It's really great to see the different ways that Maru is using his opening to then kind of leverage these pushes. As it is, of course, Maru in the top right. And in the bottom left, he's gonna need to pull something back. This is a best of 5, so you're not out quite yet, but you're out of lives. You know, you're playing Street Fighter. You know, you put in your tokens, you get 3 lives on the screen. You're using Ken, you're fighting, you get knocked down once. Oh well, you know, that's fine. He just cheesed me with a stupid combo, but then he does it again. And now you got to figure out, all right, how do I break this combo? How do I beat it? That's the task here for Zest. So can you do it? You know, can you beat the Hadouken spam from Ryu? Although isn't Ken's very, I think Ken's very strong in Street Fighter. I don't know a lot about other games, but I hear like tidbits here and there just in my perusing of the internet. And Street Fighter is one that I don't keep up with. I keep up with a few games and their esports and kind of stuff like that. Because of course, it's always good to be interested in other games if you are a commentator. It's always good to be interested in other games because if opportunities arise, it's always great to be able to look into them, to cast them especially. Street Fighter, never been one that I've looked into. But I heard somewhere that Ken's really strong. They did like a patch and Ken's like really strong. And Ryu is kind of no longer viable. That's just what I heard though. Again, same opening from Maru. Same opening from Zest. Maru once again, I'm gonna try and go for the bunker cheese. But Zest actually every game, interestingly enough, has been opening Zealot first. And I assume this is of course to stop the engineering bay block, because Maru is a player who, at any chance, even in TBZ, will do an NG bay block just to annoy you. And also this SCV micro is absolutely disgusting. Will it get killed? Oh my, Maru, stop it. No way this bunker goes up. No, what? That's not allowed. That is not allowed. How do you manage? I mean, of course I know how you do it. When you're building, of course, if you pull your SCV off and then go back to building, so if you press T for it to stop, you go back to building, the SCV will actually move to a different side of the bunker. But to do it that well is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it does get cleaned up, but still, that is cheeky. That is so cheeky. And for Zest, luckily this game actually doesn't get the Stargate opener scouted. So Maru not quite in the know of what the build is going to be. We'll see if he does actually go for the Viking. Well, does kind of get confirmation there. I think that was just in vision if we look at it. Yeah. So knows that it is going to be most likely that Oracle. So should, as soon as this medevac is done, get up into that Viking. Or actually might just have enough Marines to deal with it. Either that or a Cyclone. We'll see what the answer actually is. Yeah, Cyclone in production as soon as the supply block is done. There we go. That's a double Widowmine drop is going to head on out. Ooh, that gets scouted. Those Stalkers, a very, very nice catch. Actually slowing down and seeing this Widowmine drop is massive for the Protoss. Because even though, you know, Zest has been prepared for it, if you see it and you know when it's actually going across the map, you can time it out. Because especially for a map like Glittering Ashes with the medevac boost, it should take probably around 10 to 15 seconds for this medevac to get across the map. So you can have a unit prepared, and you can actually avoid a majority of the damage. This is a very aggressive push by Zest, though. Both of the Stalkers are going to go down. Zealot still alive. Oh, the repair coming out. Doesn't quite manage to save it, but that's not a trade that you want to take. I mean, that was not very good at all, as the Reaper causes havoc. Doesn't actually get too many SCV kills, and oh, this is what got Zest in the last game. All right, good micro. Still going to lose 2. Loses 3 SCVs in total to that. And also, I mean, loses an Oracle, 2 Stalkers, and a Zealot. You gotta say, not worthwhile. You get what? 2 Marines and a Cyclone? I'm thinking you want a little bit more. Also, Maru saved both those Widowmines. That's actually really good. If you're able to get those shots off, even if you only get 1 or 2 worker kills, and you get out, that is so big. As here we go, the Reaper is gonna come through. The weak one was focused, though. Good pull away. Only 1 more probe going down. Oracle did dive on in, managed to find itself 2 SCV kills. But Zest has committed to 3 Oracles, which is a lot more than you usually will. Because he lost the first one, wants to go back up to 2, was his original, I think, goal, or, yeah. Because it takes 2 shots to kill an SCV, or 2 kind of ticks of the Oracle beam. Oh, it might take 3, actually. Sorry, I was meandering. Oh, the Oracles are gonna go down. No. Oh, that hurts so much. I mean, this trading has just not been worthwhile. Even though you get 3 SCVs, you'll lose 100, you lose 300 minerals and gas. I mean, as Zest, you're just not going to be happy with this, really, especially when you know that behind this, Maru's probably doing the same build. You invested a lot of minerals into those 3 oracles, and of course, ideally, you just go up to 3 oracles. You don't lose any, and then you go in, you can one-shot SCVs. It is 3 ticks of the oracle beam to kill an SCV. Ideally. That, unfortunately, was not able to happen. And so, you know, I think Zest has gotten kind of minimal damage, traded a lot, and that's going to give Maru a lot of leverage in this game. Ooh. Sneaky, sneaky probe on a mission across the map to see what he can find out. What do you see, probe? That's okay, it's just gonna be a proxy pylon for Warpins. Makes sense. 4 gateways on the way. It's going to be a gateway-based army. There is no robotics facility, so you're looking charge. Potentially a Templar Archives after this. You actually might not need it, but it's nice to have that splash damage if you're going for something like a lot of Blink Stalkers and charge lots. But the DT Shrine can fulfill your needs for Archons, which are, of course, the big unit to have. But the main danger of this comp... Oh, this is so cool. Wait, this is actually really cool from Zest. That's double proxy gateway with another pylon on the map. What? Zest is giving himself so many options here for Warpins. I actually love this. I really, really like this. Because mind you, he's going up to a really high gateway count. He's going to be going up to 8 gates. And with 8 gates, you should be able to defend most pushes. Especially, you know, this is going to be a tank push. And so if you can get a mass amount of charge lots, if you can blink on top of the tanks, you can defeat these pushes quite handily. You can already see here, Zest is just able to kind of fight straight up with these Blink Stalkers. And so by proxying double gateways, even if one gets scouted, you know, even if this one got killed, you have another one. And look at this, Zest, he's not even gonna let Maru go for the push without punishing. It's gonna be charge lots straight on into the main base. I love this so much. He's going for the counterattack. Maru's not across the map, and Zest is committing all into the natural. Oh, have to be careful. The Widow Mines only get 2 Stalkers. They were spread out enough. More Zealots being warped in with Dark Templar. I mean, there's a Raven though. If Zest can't get rid of this Raven, the really important thing is that Maru will have vision on those Dark Templars. And that's going to be really massive when it comes to this fight. But Zest, he's taking a supply lead. He's in the main already. The SCVs are going down. There's almost none left. Oh, this is such a good move from Zest. And he still has 1k minerals, is the thing. The Zest Bank is going to come through, which is something that you never say, because the Zest Bank almost never comes through. Oh, a good depower there. 3 gateways do go down. You want to see some more Warpins come out if they can, but most of the gateways now, with that second pylon being sniped, it is just a straight up army battle. And I think Zest has more. I mean, Zest, even though his third base, you know, is dying, Zest has enough to build a Nexus. Even though Maru is floating this command center, I don't think it actually, oh, it's gonna go into burning. Yeah, the Blink Stalkers will get it burning. That means that Maru won't be able to draw out the game. And he won't be able to try and kill all of the probes, the Protoss, which means that Maru just has to win by killing the army right now. He has to win by killing the army because all of his structures are going to get cleaned up. He doesn't have an SCV across the map. I think Zest just wins this. There's, this starport. This starport might save Maru right now. If this starport is able to get, yeah, it's able to get out of range, that can actually save him. This barracks, is also not going to go down. All right. A few buildings being able to survive. But yeah, you see a Nexus just goes up for Zest. I mean, this is such a cool response. Zest just doesn't fight the army. He just gets up the gateway count that he needs. He says, I'm going to counterattack. If you can't rebuild, I'm going to have more. Because I have the Zest Bank. And the Zest Bank is the most useful thing you can ever have in a base race. As Maru is now going to hunt down buildings. And guess what? It's going to be so hard because Zest has so many proxied buildings. You can't kill all of Zest's buildings. You just need to try and, I guess, hunt for these probes. You need to hunt for the workers and where the Nexus is being built, but it's being built all the way across the map. Look how much Zest has. 64 army supply, charge lots, and Archons. And that's an army that does really well against what Maru has. You know, he has tanks and Widow Mines, and right now, Zest is being so smart about this because he's not showing his whole army. He doesn't want to show where all the charge lots are. He's just going to be trying to poke around with the Blink Stalkers. These are the most microable units. And if you can get pickoffs with them, then that's just a straight win if you can blink away. And so Zest is just leaving the Archons, leaving the Zealots for when a fight actually happens. And this is such an intense situation, but I think Zest has done it. I mean, unless Maru takes a godlike engagement, unless, I mean, he, maybe Armor Shredder, anti-armor missile on all the Zealots could be massive. If he's able to get one on a big clump, these tanks, they're gonna siege up. They've actually created a choke point. But this could work against Maru. Oh, Maru! He's created a choke point for himself. Where's the anti-armor missile? There we go. Finally one gonna go down. It's onto a lot of the Zealots. But there's the blink on, and Zest collapses on the army. And a wonderfully played base race. Zest will be able to take this game. I mean, it's closer than you would think. The tank, oh, wait. Does Maru do this? It's 16 army supplies still left over. The Raven doesn't have energy though. GG. Zest takes it. It's been brought back. But in the top left, still looking to make it to qualify for DreamHack last chance. From Team NV, it is Maru. That kind of sounded like the GSL pre-recorded announcers, where Taste of Sartos are like, ladies and gentlemen, in the bottom right, you all know who it is. And then it's like, Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. I mean, no flame against that guy. I love that they do that. I love the pre-recorded. Any tournament that has the pre-recorded kind of name things. It's always so fun. But there is just something that you get from doing it live, you know? There's just something where you're just like, oh, it's Zest! Yeah! And you get that guttural, that growl. And he's bringing it back. He's bringing it back. He managed to get the win there with the base trade, which I absolutely love. And now we're on to Berlingrad, which is a map that is, in my experience, Protoss have had a decent time on against Terran. We'll see if that stays true. Maru is, once again, going for, you know, the hidden racks, the hidden barracks. Zest did scout out for a proxy, didn't scout the actual left side of the map, so doesn't know if there's any proxy that could be placed here, or, you know, like here. But, you know, knows that there's no immediate proxy. He's actually going to go out, I believe this one will be the probe that's sent across the map, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Oh, actually, this probe's being sneaky. It's been a little sneaky probe. Once again, Zest. He's just slipping a probe across the map. Says, no need to notice this, Maru. Will you scout out the fact that I have a pylon missing? No, you won't, until your Reaper gets into the base, which, of course, the Reaper will be a little bit faster than usual to get into the main, so should be able to notice that there is no pylon. Because by the time that Zest even would place down a third pylon, it actually wouldn't be finished by the time the Reaper comes across. So if you're Maru, what you're looking at here is you see the expansion. That looks normal. But when you go up into the main here, the first thing that Maru should be doing, aside from killing this probe, is looking for a third pylon. Or a second pylon. And I think already the fact that he doesn't see one around the Nexus should kind of tip him off to the fact that something's going on. Especially the fact that Zest didn't go with the Zealot opening like he did before. And so this Reaper actually gets a lot of damage. 3 probes go down, gets on out. And we'll see if that's the case for Maru. Does he know? Is this immediately a Cyclone? If this is immediately a Cyclone, Maru has a perfect read on this. Yeah, he knows. Sees that there's no second pylon. Because the second pylon is going to usually be placed right by the Nexus. You don't usually hide it at the back of the base. And so if you don't see it by either Nexus, that means that it's hidden. Oh, Maru's even going to scout it. Oh, wait, did he see it? Did he see it? Okay, he did. Maru's so good, man. Maru's so good. So good. He knows. He knows. Even Micros kills 3 probes, knows that it's a proxy. And now for Zest, I mean, the real worry is if you go for a proxy starport, again, you're delaying, or Stargate, you're delaying quite a bit of stuff. Because you're putting your second pylon across the map, it can get, it can get killed. And then you're just losing that supply. And if it's scouted out, then especially if it's scouted out, and you don't get any damage done with those oracles, again, it is a net loss investment. Now, that happened in the last game for Zest, and he still managed to make it work, but that was just because the timing worked out so well for Zest with the builds and with when Maru was moving out across the map. But I don't think that's going to be the case in this game, and that's just going to be an immediate kill. The first one goes down. Yeah, GG. Zest doesn't even want to play it out. Maru takes it 3-1.